Introduction. Despite not being a known prospect when he joined the league, everyone in the basketball world is now aware of who Nikola Jokic is. Here, we'll share what 10 NBA luminaries think of the Joker number 10. Charles Barkley. The best thing about Jokic is that he hasn't changed at all since he was selected as the 41st overall pick in the 2014 NBA draft. They even aired a Taco Bell commercial during his selection, and no one predicted he would be as good as he is now. He recently signed a 5-year, $147 million contract, but he still maintains his modest, down-to-earth, and laid-back demeanor, which is one of the many reasons why everyone seems to like him, even Hall of Famer Charles Barkley, who typically doesn't have much praise for anyone. He is one of my favorites because he is simply what we would call a no-drama superstar, which is why he is one of my favorite players. No ego, but this guy never seems to be involved in drama. I've never heard him use foul language, and you don't hear him getting into any problems. He just plays hoops, so if you don't enjoy seeing him play, you don't enjoy basketball. Barkley stated additionally, there were some inquiries concerning Jokic's physique in the first few years of his career. Barkley believed that his body would be the last thing he would be concerned about because he is a great player who is more than anything else. He is simply not physically intimidating. Chuck stated that Jokic is currently in the best shape of his career, which is evidently showing that he is thinner, faster, and more resilient than ever. Shaquille O'Neal number 9. Outside of perhaps Arvydas Sabonis, the NBA had never seen a player like the Joker back in the day. He could put the ball on the floor and outperform most point guards. He could dribble, post up, catch, shoot, and score from all three levels. For this reason, it wasn't shocking to see him win the MVP award last season, and Shaquille O'Neal gave him a heartfelt thank you because of you. The big man is back, and you're the first big man to win the MVP in a long time. I thank you and appreciate you very much. Coming from Serbia as a child, did you ever think, I will be the NBA MVP one day? Shaq stated when asked about Shaquille O'Neal, Jokic had a hilarious response, joking that Shaq couldn't defend him before adding that he was just a huge force. I mean, when I was in New Orleans getting off the bus, he was in front of me, and I had like a mountain in front of me. When I saw him in person and watched his clips, he was so dominant, and I think the most dominant guy to play in the game. He was a beast right there. Jokic said, it goes without saying that Jokic and Shaq are completely different players. The Joker is made for the modern game, while Shaq was a dominant physical specimen that made the most of his damage down low. He'd still be as great if he played nowadays, but Jokic doesn't exactly fit the mold of the typical center number 8 Dirk Nowitzki when it comes to shooting. At least, the similarities to Nowitzki are somewhat accurate, but if you ask the Mavericks legend Jokic, he is already a far better player than he ever was. Damn, that's a compliment. I wish I had his skill set. His passing is hilarious. Regrettably, I've always wanted to score rather than pass. Regarding the comparisons with Jokic number 7, Dirk stated according to Gregg Popovich, Jokic is one of the most exceptional players to have ever set foot on an NBA hardwood court because of his versatility, ability to play at a faster pace, and ability to lead the offense at a high level. Some people are already drawing comparisons between him and former game legends, including Spurs coach, even though it is still far too early in his career. Gregg Popovich even went so far as to liken him to the legendary Larry Bird of Celtics, saying that he is a reincarnation of the legendary Larry Bird who does everything. When asked about the Serbs, Popovich stated that although those similarities would appear implausible to the unaided eye, they are actually more true than one might imagine. In addition to being a forward and a skilled shooter, Bird was also a superb playmaker and facilitator. For example, Jokic recently averaged 26.4 points, 10.8 rebounds, 8.3 assists, and 1.3 steals per game on 56, 36, 88 shooting splits, which isn't all that different from what Larry Bird averaged during his career. Both players were also more athletic and cunning than initially believed. As a basketball fan, it's exciting to watch and you cheer for him because you know you're going to witness something special. Jason Kidd Jokic is putting the world on notice and proving that the Balkans live and die for basketball. Even if the rest of the world hasn't been paying attention, if not, just ask Jason Kidd. It just goes to show that if the country hadn't broken up into 7 countries, they could have been the dream team. Bojan Bogdanovic and Jokic, Bogdan, Boran Marjanovic, Bjelica, Nemanja, Vica, Zubac, Lucia. If they hadn't split up number 5, players like Jusuf Nurkic, Goran Dragic, and Doncic would have been able to compose that squad. Milicic, Darko Milicic. Given the abundance of talented players at that position, including perennial Defensive Player of the Year candidate Rudy Gobert, Jokic has made a compelling case for being the best big man in the NBA right now. Gobert has drawn a lot of criticism regarding his $200 million contract with former second overall pick Darko Milicic, saying that if they paid him that much, Jokic should receive $500 million. If Gobert is so valuable, then our Jokic should sign a contract for $500 million. In the NBA, marketing has always come first, and the league tries to become a show business, so those sums today are simply unbelievable. The 4th European basketball superstar Toni Kukoc also spoke highly of Nikola Jokic, one of the biggest stars from the old continent who achieved success in the league and opened the door for men like him to follow. Today, players like Doncic, Jokic, Bogdanovic, and others are well known before entering the NBA, and there is far more faith in them than there was in the past. As soon as they join a team, it is evident that they get the ball and opportunities. That some of these guys have the opportunity to win the league MVP award is fantastic. When given the opportunity to lead a team, Jokic enjoys competing at the highest level and doesn't view it as a job. This is the beauty of the game. Everything that nobody else sees is translated on the court, and he has a lot of influence there. His ability to see what's happening before anyone else does makes him an exceptional basketball player. Coach said. 3 Paul Pierce numbers. Paul Pierce. Prior to being fired by ESPN, Paul Pierce was not known for making bold predictions. His divisive opinions provided his detractors with a wealth of material. Last year, he claimed that Jokic's team's seeding would prevent him from winning MVP, so they should try trading for his sidekick, Jamal Murray. Jokic won't win MVP this year solely because their club won't finish in the top 4 of the conference. If there is a move you can make to get this team back into the top 4, I believe you have to do it, even if it means giving up Jamal Murray. Pierce expressed his happiness that the Nuggets managed to hold on to Murray, but Jokic's victory disproved his theory. The second Kevin Garnett number. Kevin Garnett. Even though Jokic is a modern player, his game is still valued by old-school fans. In fact, Kevin Garnett recently compared him to Dirk Nowitzki and praised how he and other players have transformed the league. I don't think people from 20 years ago could play this game since they used to control players with their hands. Now that you can't use your hands, defense is practically impossible. Can you imagine not monitoring your hands? Michael Jordan. The offensive player has a lot of versatility since you can't touch them. The fadeaways, one-leg balance shots, and one-leg runners. Dirk Nowitzki contributed something to our game, and now that I see him play, it seems like he's combined that darkness with his own skill, and Steph Curry changed everything by being able to shoot it consistently from a distance. Dame Lillard and Klay Thompson. He claimed that these guards altered the game. The first English number for Alex in English. The Denver Nuggets have had plenty of legendary players go through their ranks, although none of them has been able to lead the team to an NBA championship. As a matter of fact, they're one of the few teams that have never been to the NBA Finals, but according to the guy who was considered the best player in Nuggets history, that might as well change if Nikola Jokic stays in town. According to Alex English, he could go down as the best player to ever wear that jersey. I would think that he's been there long enough to be verified as one of the greatest players, if not the greatest player. I think that longevity plays a part as well, but so far he's on track to be the greatest Nuggets player because of the numbers that he puts up as well as how he's played with the team, so I'm okay with relinquishing the role and letting him take over because he's earning it. He's doing a lot of stuff for that squad that if he wasn't there they wouldn't be in the position. He's a bona fide superstar, and his numbers prove it. His individual numbers as well as the team numbers, the winning percentages. You have to look at the production of the player, you have to look at his contributions to the team, but you also have to include longevity as well, because I've seen players that have been great for 2 years, 3 years on the squad, and to be able to say they've been the greatest player on the squad when you've got other players that have done not as well, but have been as strong. But I think that his work over the 5 years being a Nugget qualifies him. He's done what he needs to do, and he's in that longevity range where he can say, well, I've been here, I've done this, I've done that. He's made the All-Star team now, I believe, 3 years, and that's the beginning of putting down the marks that people will judge him on, so he's well within range. Now English said that's a lot of praise. Coming from a guy who averaged nearly 26 points per game over his career with the Nuggets. Will Nikola Jokic win another MVP? Will he stay with the Denver Nuggets and lead them to their very first NBA championship? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more original content.